Rock on with Rock Hard Riffs, the rock and roll guitar channel. Well, hey there guys, this is Rock Hard Riffs, the rock and roll guitar channel for the self-taught. In today's video we have a War of the Roses, Floyd Rose that is. Now on the left we have our original Floyd Rose in our ESP E2 Mystique. Very cool guitar. And on the right we have the Floyd Rose FRX. It's like a top or flush mount, and that's mounted onto our Epiphone Les Paul Classic. Now, as you can see, there's quite a big difference when you first look at them, but really they operate just pretty much the same way. It's the same premise, spring against string tension. If you're familiar with Floyd Roses, of course, you know that there are springs in the back of the guitar, and the guitar stays in tune by the tension. There's a constant battle between the strings and the springs. It's really an ingenious way of doing it, and that's what keeps it in tune. And on the right, it's the same thing. It operates the same way, except for that big bulky part you see down on the bottom of it. That's a spring in there too. We're going to have a closer look at this. As you can see here, guys, this Floyd Rose, you have to route out the guitar in order to put this bridge in there. It does take quite a bit of work to install these things. They also have the classic locking nut that goes through the neck, which works great, works perfectly fine. What you can't see, of course, goes inside and into the back of the guitar. That's where the springs are. These little guys here are how we take the strings out. And as you can see, the only way to intonate these things are the screws which are underneath the strings. That's what allows the saddles to move. You loosen those and you move them. What a pain in the rear, but from what I understand, they primarily do come pre-intonated, which is great. The FRX did, which was very, very handy. It was very easy to install as well. So there you have it. There's the original Floyd Rose. Now here we have the FRX. Now this is a little screw. I took this off purposely so you could see it. This little screw goes right in here. And what this does, there's a little plate inside there. And this screw, once it's put all the way down in there, will kind of stop at this little plate. There's a little indentation in the plate. And it keeps it in tune. It's kind of bizarre, but it works really well. Now here's the spring I was telling you about before. This is the spring that is the tension against the strings. But everything else works pretty much the same. The saddles are pretty much the same. The fine tuners are pretty much the same. This is different, and this is the only thing I kind of don't like about it. It does get in the way a little bit. So I won't say it's the only thing I don't like, but it's one of those things. Now here you see a thumb screw on here. What this does is I can go all the way down with it, and then what that allows is me to pull the arm all the way up, right? So I can pull this up and really stretch the strings, or just as if I were to block it, I can bring that thumb screw up, and it completely blocks the bridge from moving back, which is just an ingenious idea. What a brilliant idea. So no matter how you like it, there you have it. That's pretty cool. Now we're going to give a little sound test on these two in a minute. Now the FRX also comes with its own locking nut, which is this guy right there, but you have to screw it into the headstock. I'm not crazy about that, and so what I did is I am using, once again, the Guitar Nut Buster, and I swear by this thing. I love this thing. I have it on 2 guitars, and it works absolutely fantastically. So if you don't want to put any screw holes into your guitar, check out a Nut Buster. Now, they aren't inexpensive, but I personally think that they are definitely worth every penny. So if you don't want to screw that thing in, get one of these. All right, guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to do little sound checks with these. We're going to see how far they dive bomb and how they flutter, and if one is noisier or not than the other. So let's check that out. Okay, guys, so here we are with the ESP E2 Mystique, and it does a nice, it's a typical Floyd Rose, right? They sound really great. They're made very well. Let's see how we do with dive bombs and see how low we can go. So the strings go to basically wet spaghetti, right? So this thing dive bombs completely. It also does the flutter. And loosen the arm right here by this little nut, the sort of thing that goes down on a male thread. So, and of course with the locking nut, we're riding great tune. Perfect tune. So okay guys, that's the original Floyd Rose. Let's go ahead and listen to the FRX. Okay guys, so here we are with the FRX. Now it does that nice Bigsby type action, just like the original. So I've removed the ball screw. Let's see if I can get a flutter out of this. So you have to pull on it to get it to stay into tune. That's without that little ball screw there. So let's check out the dive bomb. It doesn't go quite as deep as the Floyd Rose original, but it still sounds good. This has that adjustment screw, so here what I'll do is I'll block it so I can't pull it back. I still pull back just a little bit. So I don't get much of a flutter out of this at all. And the dive bomb is great though. So the only complaints I have about the FRX is a little part here where you put your hand when you go to mute the strings. It's a little funny. It just takes some getting used to. I really like the little thumb screw that you can block it if you want. That's cool. The height adjustment screws here are really cool. Those are definitely handy. And of course you didn't have to route out anything. So you know, you don't get quite as good a performance with the FRX as with the original, but you don't have to go through a lot of other stuff like routing out the guitar and etc. with the FRX. So it's really, you know, I like them both. Would I buy another one of these? Absolutely, yes. So there you have it guys, the Floyd Rose original and the Floyd Rose FRX. Pretty cool bridges. Alright guys, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll see you next video.